not noteworthy.
Is it working or is it shit?
Yeah, you sound better. Milton dropped again.
Yeah, but this is like worse video quality, and it's like my mic is no longer here. Well, the good mic that I was using is no longer usable because if I use that, I can't hear you guys.
And I'm not saying you don't have a beautiful face, because you do, but if you want to go ahead and turn off your camera, and that way all the data goes to the audio, that actually might work. Yeah.
All right, how's that?
Sounds a lot better. Yeah.
Good God. So yeah, we were having some blaspheming on broadcast.
Yeah. Well, I just wanted to give a little pithy definition of what I mean by the Spider-Man analogy, and then Lorenzo happened, but that's fine. So we're gonna try
analogy.
We're gonna try bringing Milton up again.
The Spider-Man analogy.
He's still getting preached to, man.
Oh, is he still back there?
I mean, I don't know, but
I don't see
like they're having some sort of battle of religion.
Well, so the reason why I did what I did is because he just kept going on and on and on preaching insults, and so I just responded with insults too, because and then now he's off. I don't hear him anymore. So
yeah, he's actually gone. That's like That's one of my biggest pet peeves when having a conversation with anybody of any sort of religious faith. They don't know how
it gets messy real quick.
Yeah, it does. It really does. Yeah, it's the weirdest thing.
I actually blocked Lorenzo earlier, not because of any religious faith or any opinion, but he started saying that homosexuals and saying vile things about homosexuals, and so that's the reason why I blocked him, not because of his faith, but because
What's that possible?
Don't we all at some point? I ain't like homophobic or nothing, but that's a whole different rabbit hole to go down.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Well, if you go down that and then you get down, you get away from rights and like equal rights, and then you start going down that, and then you go through gender, and then you go through sexualization and sexuality and all that kind of stuff. And then we end up where J.K. Rowling is with her Harry Potter stuff, and that is some shit that could get fiery real quick. It'd make for great broadcasting, though.
Yeah, that's some Vosh action for sure. So possible. Earlier, I was trying to ask you where you're from, but you're breaking up. So.
Yeah, well, I'm in New Zealand, but I'm half Malaysian as well.
Oh, okay. Where are you originally from?
Like originally, I was born in New Zealand, but like my dad's got biology of Malaysia.
Okay, all right. You sound, and I don't mean this in any offense, but your accent sounds so American. It just sounds very American, your accent.
Well, by golly, I can do that too, but I don't have any biology to it.
Well, gracious goodness, Greg, Gravy Marie.
Let's talk about the self in simpler times, gentlemen.
Self in simpler times. Is there ever such thing as simpler times?
Yeah, I remember when all you used to do is go out on the porch and sing a tune or two. You used to teach your kids some guitar. Well, tell them how to fix a car.
Yeehaw! I remember when we were sitting out back. We had fellers. We had chick fellers. Oh yeah, baby!
And let me introduce you to this cool concept called barbecue.
Ooh, I love a good barbecue.
By golly, that's as American as apple pie.
Damn right.
Yeah.
Oh man.
A possible probability. I think I met you first. I think it was a Michael Bathurst broadcast. I think.
It probably was, and that was probably a broadcast I didn't mean to be in.
Yeah, but you were actually profound. I actually appreciated how you thought.
Yeah, so my understanding from what I gathered from the other day is you're mostly into Eastern philosophy.
Well, I understand that a lot better than I do Western philosophies. It's not like I never really had an interest in studying Western philosophies because it was repetitive as hell.
In which way? In which way?
The same messages get basically told throughout the entire history of it, and it's just this person said this and this person said that, and it's the same fucking point.
Okay.
Plato,
Now,
Socrates, all that kind of shit, Descartes.
I love Descartes. Well, Socrates wasn't a philosopher, but I know what you're talking about. Um, and I do beat those horses too. I'm not gonna lie. Um, I don't know if it's repetitive though, because like Descartes and like Plato, like or even like Aquinas, like there's definitely some huge delineations in between like just those three. Hey, you are.
Oh.
Blondie's here? Blondie.
Yes,
Yeah,
Blondie's
you
here.
are. Yeah. So anyway, so lay down some like Eastern philosophy, like just pick a philosopher and kind of discuss
There's
like one of their major points, and we'll just
well,
go from there.
the yin yang is a great one to get into because it's become part of pop culture, but if you strip it back to what it actually means, nobody actually follows it.
Just
Like
strip it
people
down
like the
because
idea
I
of it,
I
but they
don't.
would rather call it karma and go with the Buddhist stuff.
Okay. All right.
If
So
you do
let's.
something, then it comes back to you and all that kind of
Mhm.
jazz.
Yeah.
But yin yang is a little bit more accurate because it's balance and good and bad and needing one and the other to complete stuff.
hmm Is it a necessity thing, or is it like more of a descriptive of what's observed within the world? Is Do you know
I
what I
think it's
mean?
more of a it's an
Balance as a
existence thing.
yeah, balance in existence. It's a necessary.
It's more
Hmm.
like what we need in order to exist.
Exactly.
Interesting.
Perfectly balanced as all things should be.
We
Thanos.
need somebody to love. We need somebody to hate. Sometimes they're the same person,
Yes.
That's true. I
but
agree with that statement.
but that's the ball. That's the
and the
ball.
book of Thanos, chapter 2, verse 13, perfectly balanced.
All right. So I'm glad you brought up Thanos. I'm glad you brought up. So I always found that part of the movie weird. Here he is,
Whoa,
Thanos.
mine just refreshed.
Interesting. Thanos is like, okay, the world has an issue with resources and depletion and woes, and he's like, okay, so let's nix half the population of the cosmos. Why didn't he just like, instead of doing that, why didn't he make resources more abundant and other things? Why cancel half the population of the universe instead of making it to where he didn't have to do that, but made it better on the cosmos. I just think it was just such a cruel
So we're
decision to
talking
make.
the sci-fi
Yeah.
character, right?
Yeah,
Yes,
Thanos
yeah, yeah, yeah.
from the Avengers. No, I mean
Mr.
from
Snap and all that kind of stuff.
yeah.
hmm
Well,
Such
Josh
a
Not
Brolin.
weird, such a weird thing.
of course, we know Fox News is fair and balanced. So there you go.
Yeah,
About as
depends on which
fair as
side of the fence you
balance,
sit on, right?
about as fair as balance as the three-wheeled car.
It's about as balanced as
Yeah.
politics, gentlemen.
Oh yeah. Mm. See,
No,
that's why I
I
have a
mean
hard. That's why I have a hard time wrapping my head around the whole yin and yang thing. And I say that because if it's about balance, I don't see the balance. So does that
In the
mean
modern
it's not
world,
being
or
applied, or is it, or like how does yin and
it's not
yang?
being it's not being internalized
Mhm.
okay,
because
so
philosophy is deeper than like common thought. It's if we talk about it as one thing, but if we actually practice it, I mean that almost sounds religious. But if nobody practices it, it means nothing.
Okay. So
If
how
you
does
put it on
one?
T-shirts and
No, I get that. Yeah,
uh,
yeah. You put it. Well, that's just we can definitely go down the whole capitalism uh, uh,
yeah,
road too, but I'd rather not. But now, how does one practice or put into practice yin and yang in order to achieve that balance?
well, optimism is a great talking point. The world would
Okay.
constantly love you to be optimistic, but they don't want to acknowledge the well, they would call it the pessimistic, but it's like only accepting good things or what the world generally deems a good thing.
Okay.
But if you don't acknowledge the like what if you don't acknowledge bad things at the same time, then you don't achieve anything. You just tell people to keep smiling and smiling and smiling, and it's like, God damn it, you better be smiling.
Well, possibly,
Okay.
possibly. Let me respond to that. You have your optimistic, you have your pessimistic, and to me, I'm realistic, and so to me, that is looking at the situation for what it really is, whether it's a positive thing or a negative thing, and so to me, that's the difference. If that makes sense.
Well, that in turn would be the balance. That would be that center line of yin and yang.
Exactly.
Okay. Now I do agree on that we have to recognize both the good and the bad. Um, I think especially if we're going to fix anything that's bad, definitely you have to recognize a problem before you can even do anything to fix it. So
But you don't fix it with positive reinforcement though.
like, what do you mean positive
You
reinforcement?
so if somebody, I mean, an example that I'm very familiar with is I would say they would call it depression and suicide. If you take that, telling somebody to, well, actually, you could link that into relationships as well, because everybody that's ever been through a breakup has always been told by people that they need to work on themselves, or they need to move on, or they need to do all this kind of stuff. You do not heal anybody by telling them shit that does not apply to them. You know,
I 100% agree with that. Yes, that I
Yeah.
agree with.
I agree with that.
if
Yeah.
somebody's going through some shit, you don't help them by telling them, "Hey, buddy, smile." You know, get old Joker on it.
Yeah.
Let's put a smile on that face. You know,
No, I agree.
you don't
Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
like you can't help people by simply shoving optimism down their throat. You know, like telling somebody that's in a bad place to basically smile and get over it is not
No.
it's not
Mhm.
registering that something isn't right.
I agree. I think a lot of times it instead of that reassurance, they need affirmation. They need somebody to recognize that, hey, there is a problem. That way they don't feel ostracized. Because if you're having a problem and you want help with it, or you're internally struggling with it, having everybody around you say, "Oh, just buck up, buddy. Oh, you're a rock. You'll get over this." You're absolutely right. It's just
Come on,
empty
giddy up.
words at the end of the day.
Yeehaw.
It's like it's more or less.
Yeah.
It's like we need more empathy. It's like, oh, more empathy and affirmations. Like, I understand what you're going through. I'm sorry you're hurting. Blah blah blah. Instead of, it's like, oh, just buck up, buddy. No, I completely
Or
agree.
or the old American adage, "Pick yourself up by the bootstraps."
Yeah, which is such a weird fucking thing to say. I've never like
Yeah.
Yeah. Pick yourself up by the bootstraps.
let's break that down. Stand up, put a pair of boots on, and try to pick yourself up. That's how irrational that whole fucking trope means. It's like, what?
I mean,
It doesn't make any sense. It's a deepity,
there's
just
another
like
horse
Daniel Dennett
related
would
thing
say. Yeah.
I
there's
mean, if
another
you would
horse
just,
related thing which is kind of it's in between that it's not how you fall off the horse, it's how you get back on, kind of thing.
hmm I think that one's better. I think that's a better parable than pull yourself up by your bootstraps, because unless you're, this is a bad joke, unless you're Christopher Reeves, once you fall off that horse, there's no picking yourself back up. I'm sorry, bro. I'm so sorry.
yeah.
Tragedy. Sorry, I went on a tangent there for a moment.
There's a saying though that gets used a lot in American like colloquialism and stuff, which is what's going on, like what's going on with you,
Mm.
buddy. You know, that doesn't get said as much as it should,
I
or at
don't think
least
the
in
word
anything around those
colloquialism
phrases.
gets said enough.
Well, yeah, that's because
Colloquialism.
nobody know what it means.
Right? And if nobody out there knows what it means, I'll put it like this. If you refer to the word theory in common layman's parlay, you're using it in a colloquial sense. You actually mean hypothesis because a theory is an accepted science, it's an accepted fact. A hypothesis is more toward the speculative
It's an educated
side of
guess.
things. It's not even an educated guess.
Well, no. The
It's rolling
hypothesis. It's just an hypothesis, an educated guess.
A good hypothesis is a good
yeah.
educated guess. Yeah.
I mean, hypothesis is it's that line, but it's it's being on the cliff face before you jump off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know,
exactly.
it's not quite an educated guess, but it's about to become one.
Yeah, it's a question. It's like, why does that happen? And then you move on to the next step in the scientific process. Experimentation.
I wonder what would happen if this happens.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I find it weird.
You can make
a lot
another
of people
Dark Knight reference with that too.
don't.
You know, a hypothesis is kind of like that scene where it's just like, let her go. Very poor choice of words.
Yes.
And he like
Well,
drops her
I
off
think that's that's your second Batman reference.
Hey,
yeah, I mean,
it
was a good movie.
I'm not a huge movie line guy, but if somebody brings a movie line in the context of a philosophical point, it's like, cool, dude. I dig it because I
mean, we
nerd
already
out on
brought in
that shit.
Thanos.
Might as well. Well, I mean, that's one thing about any story. I mean, you can pick it apart philosophically and sit there and talk about, the points it's trying to make, or like critique it on like, why did he make that decision? Why didn't he do that decision instead? But if you look at Thanos's his whole philosophy is more Machiavellian than anything, if you ask me.
Never heard that word before, but
well, I want to talk about the problem of evil. Brian just wrote me about Wagyu steaks. And last night, of course, I'm on a diet, so I'm in the middle of the night, and he's trying to tempt me to eat something, and this is the problem of evil. Sorry about that.
Ooh, Wagyu. Wagyu's some
Yes.
good shit.
Yes,
Sorry,
I
it's
lead
also
with
expensive
I
shit.
lead into temptation.
He did that on purpose. He knew that he was getting to Uncle Milty.
I am leading you to the promised land, Milton. You'll be blessed soon enough.
Well, thank you, Moses. Appreciate it.
You're
Wagyu.
Partner skillet.
Just that flame, just touching it, just hearing it go.
Well, it's a good thing we ain't all vegetarians in here.
Okay, Brian.
No, I'm not. I love bacon way too much.
My cows broke loose and gone into my marijuana field. Now the stakes are high.
Poker references.
I love it. I love corny dad jokes because I'm a dad.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm gonna tell that to my kids.
I mean, last week I was robbed. I was robbed last week.
Yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Huh.
6 dwarves not happy.
6 dwarves not
happy. Of course, my friend in Southern Illinois raises
because
cattle.
there's 7 drawers, but happy wasn't there.
Yeah, not happy.
Yeah, because there's 7 drawers. Happy is one of them, but he wasn't there. I got it. Oh, it was a Snow White reference.
Blondie didn't. She's like, huh? Oh.
I'm surprised I actually got that.
My friend in Southern Illinois owns cattle, and he built a barbed wire fence. And the other day, one of his cows tried to jump over the fence and didn't quite make it.
Did the dish run away with the spoon too?
You know what they call? He said it was utter destruction. So
utter destruction. All right.
Sorry. Hey, Brian started this.
So possible. What's your favorite, or what's a good? Because you brought up Confucius the other day. the only thing I know about Confucius is that his golden rule proverb like outdates Jesus's golden rule proverb by like 3,000 years. So
What is that?
that's basically do unto others as you would do unto you, or
To you.
That
Yeah.
thing.
yeah. The golden rule, which has been retranslated like year and year and year
Dozens
and
and
year.
dozens
Yeah,
of times.
yeah.
You pretty much have it. You have it broken down in almost every
Which
language,
nobody lives
really.
by anyway.
Mm-mm. I try to. I
I mean, we
really
get taught it
do.
in school, but then at some point you get rejected by a person that you fall in love with, and then you realize that the world isn't so pure anymore.
Wow, you're carrying around a lot of salt. You okay?
I'm just saying that that's generally what
Just,
happens. That's why you see a lot of single
Yeah.
guys and not a lot of single women.
I
Because
think
of that.
it's
Well,
pretty even. I think it's pretty even.
well, technically in America there are 4 women for every 1 man, so there has to be more single women than men.
And then yeah, like in Ukraine, the women outnumber the men.
Well, you go to Alaska, it's like 10 guys for every woman there. So it all depends on where you're at.
Oh man, I've got like a
So
small population. We're only like 5 million in like 2 islands. So
Oh, okay.
Hey, possible ER nurse would like you to repeat what you were talking about.
am I not seeing
Um,
comments for some reason?
I don't know.
God damn.
I think it's actually higher than more than 4 women for every 1 man. I think it's more than that. But anyway, in America.
either way, more women the better. Like the better the odds.
I don't even
Sure,
think
but
that.
then but you can break that down into age demographics. You can break that down into families. You can break that down into people that are then interested in you, and that goes for both sexes and any sexual orientation too. You could be like part of that rainbow community, and the same shit applies.
Well,
You know,
the
So
Mormons don't have
one,
it all
who's
wrong.
into
so
you, whether you
before we
meet
go
them.
any farther, because I'm getting a hint of some. Anyway, possible. What's your political leanings, if you don't mind me asking? And if you can get politically philosophy, political philosophies would be a better accurate term.
My political what?
Your political philosophy, like
Um,
on the whole political scale, like where do you sit? Left,
that
right,
we're better off
center?
without that shit. That's where I am on
Okay.
that. Blazing, that's
Well,
where I am
no,
on that. We would be better
no,
off
that's
without
fine.
that shit.
Oh, dude, I'm a very outspoken socialist, so it's okay. I get a lot of heat for that.
I mean, politics can turn people against each other that are otherwise like okay with each other.
Interesting. Okay, I'll respect that. That's okay.
It's the same thing with religion. If you're heavily into one religion, chances are your views and how you get brought up will conflict when somebody from a different religion or whatever starts talking, and then nobody has the inflection to realize that. Like if you talk to a Christian, but you're I don't know Muslim or something like that, then it will it will just create conflict.
Yeah. Well, I'm just gonna just like put this out. Like Brian, for instance, he's a libertarian, and I totally probably disagree with him like 99% on his political views. But I'm still willing to have him up. But I do.
What the thing is that when someone's you brought up religion, and if someone is defending the religion and they're not at all questioning, then the conversation is really pointless, because when you're defending, you're not listening. And so the one thing I do as an atheist, I read a lot of books. I'm in the middle of 5 or 6, and so 2 of them are actually Christian theology books, because the thing is that maybe they will say something that would make me think, and so I don't want to close myself off just to one particular line of thinking. I want to hear every line of thinking.
Well,
Well, at
that's
least
breaking up
it,
on my end. I don't know. That might be my internet connection. I don't know.
All right, possible. You seem like you watch YouTube, and I'm totally making a speculation here. So
I
who would
mean, I
be
made YouTube. I made a YouTube like 10 some years back. Well, actually, like it's almost 15 years back now.
okay? Who's your favorite YouTuber politically speaking?
Well, that would have to be myself because I agree with myself. You always got to back
Yeehaw!
yourself. If you don't back yourself,
Well, I will have to look you up on YouTube because I'm curious.
that and
So,
cause like, well, I mean, I had an account which wasn't probably it wasn't possible probably, but like a very interesting that was a very interesting YouTube because it was trying to do country music in a country that really doesn't understand the genre.
oh yeah, country music's a very
Like,
hard genre to understand unless you live in America. Yeah,
well, the thing is,
because it's a
there's the Americana side of it, but then there's a bluegrass, there's a blue collar kind of side to it as well, where it's like the everyday person. You know, it's like there's there's elements in deeper country music that are understood by basically everyone as long as you translate the language, and even then, even if you don't translate the language, it's music, right? So
mhm.
there's people can still enjoy the tunes and everything.
Yeah, I
And
agree.
then apparently there's a chord or something, there's like a note or whatever that country music can hit, which is like it's supposed to resonate from decades back and like I don't know Africans or something, and it's like it's supposed to remind people of home or something.
Hmm. Hmm.
Like I saw
Man,
some article on it ages
man,
ago
I'm getting some negative feedback about you being up here. That's crazy.
about me, or
Not, yeah. They're not, not
I
fond of
can't
this
even
guy.
see it.
Watches Hap's broadcast replays, and I'm not gonna lie, you have said a couple of homophobic things, so yeah, that's kind of why I brought it over to
If people get
politics.
if people get offended, then
We'll see.
realistically,
We'll see. No, but see, here's the thing about that comment. The fact that you say homophobic things points to the fact that you're offended by homosexuality. And it's
well,
like, and so you flip it, be like, well, if they're offended by what I say, it's like, but you're already offended. It's like snacks. Let's stack snowflakes on top of snowflakes. It's a weird concept.
I just figure if people are offended by stuff, then it's impossible to win, right? I
But
mean,
what's
I don't make my broadcasts about that kind of stuff, but people dig
mhm.
into that shit as soon as you mention it. It's the same with religion. If you mention a religion and somebody's
Yeah.
got an issue with you about it, they will dig a
Mhm.
hole so deep, and you'll give them a shovel and be like, "Bury yourself," because
Hmm.
you're going down that. I'm not trying to do
Oh no, I'm definitely going down it. I'm fine with
it.
it. I can definitely stand on my 2 feet in any political debate. I just think that the moment the homophobic gets starts pushing out the whole, well, if they're offended, but the thing is, my whole point is being homophobic, which is a phobia is just like an aversion to something, you find disgust in it,
A
is
phobia is a
finding it
fear,
offensive. No. It's not just a fear. It's an aversion to an idea or a thing or something.
an
So
aversion.
basically, yes, it's an aversion. So even feeling disgust about something and showing that disgust is literally homophobia. So when you make comments, like I heard somebody recently say, call LGBTQ the Skittles people is a homophobic thing to say.
Jesus, taste
Yeah.
the
It's
rainbow.
yeah. Exactly, just like Brian did.
That
Yeah.
yeah, I did that because
Mm,
yeah, because it was like I've been saying it for like a while because it's just it got too confusing because they kept adding all letters, but since their flag is the rainbow, so I'm
who
just like it's
It's not
cares?
even the
Skittles.
rainbow
Like,
anymore.
who
There's like
So
cares
added
though?
colors and stuff.
yeah,
But who cares
But
if
it's
they
a
add?
no,
topic
Who
that pisses off
cares?
too many people.
I
So it
know.
just
I'm just saying at that time, like I don't
Yeah.
care now. Like I don't care now, but at that time, I was
You
just like,
do, care because the moment the subject of homosexuality pops up, you say homophobic things because it's that aversion. You're showing your aversion, your disgust to
I'm
that
just of the
idea.
old school mindset where you don't fuck with me, I don't fuck with you. You know, like they can be what they want to be, and I can be what I want to be. If we
Yeah.
don't mess with each other,
yeah.
then that's fine. But the problem
I
Hmm.
is that
mean,
now they go out of their way to do that. You know,
How do? Oh, okay. What do you mean
I've
they go
done,
out of
I've
their way?
done. I'm not trying to start nothing. I'm not trying to
No, I'm not. No, you're not starting anything. But I want to explore this idea. Like, what is it that they're trying to do?
who knows. I've given up trying to understand that community. Like Brian said, where adding so many different letters to everything and getting offended at God knows what. And I'm not part of that community, but I don't have any
But
quarrels with them.
but you're getting offended by them adding letters to whatever they want to identify as. Like, who cares? Why you get? I mean,
Yeah.
that's
I'm
my
not
whole
worked up
point.
over it. I'm just saying, like,
No,
there's
I mean, I'm kind of worked up because I don't think you're seeing my point. It's like somebody, um, for instance, I'm sure this happens. It's reactionary. There's a program on, and two guys kiss, and then the dude, and who's ever watching is like, that's, and then they start with the whole Skittles comment or fruity comment or gay. It's just why if you can't sit there and watch that and just be like, oh, that's okay, instead of projecting your aversion to it or your disgust to it,
so
then
you're
like
talking about
you're the one.
tolerance.
Yeah, tolerance is what we need. And if you say anything ever,
Tolerance and
and
acceptance is
if
two
you
different
say,
things.
I'm not saying you have to accept it, but you do have to tolerate it. And here's the whole thing, and I don't want this to go down to the whole in tolerating intolerance paradox, but yeah,
The,
it's you it's you that's offended by it, and so you have to speak out against it instead of just being like, just let them do their thing. So
the thing is, you let them do their thing, and they come after you, which is evident if there's proper comments
actually
about me.
no, if you let them do their thing, they won't come at you. Like, history has proven that. It's when they're
Yeah, and
pushed into the
this
closet.
application has proven otherwise. I'll go and join people's broadcasts, and like we get along fine, and then like
hmm
random people have issues with my broadcasts when I've never had like a good enough setup to basically do any sort of proper broadcast. But
Well,
and then they
okay. Well,
never listen to it.
I was just making a comment on the comments and bringing the conversation to the fold because I like having conversations about this stuff with people that have opposing opinions.
To be honest, it's too touchy of a subject with people to kind of
Is
open
it
it up.
who's it touchy? Is it touchy with me or is it touchy with you? Like, this is my point though.
Neither of us, but like I'm just
Neither.
saying that
Okay.
it's just a whole lot of anger and hatred and stuff that ends up opening up with both parties and stuff. And I used
Well,
to live in a
yeah. I
city
mean,
where they I used to live in a city where they had made it impossible, like they had made it impossible to walk around and be straight. Like it didn't matter what you were, like it didn't matter if you were like an expert in a field, it didn't matter if you were like a professional in something. It purely came down to sexuality as to whether or not you were accepted by that particular city and that particular society. Like you would walk around and everyone would ask you what your sexuality was, and that as soon as you said that you were straight, knowing that you were straight with no qualms, no nothing, right? Just
hmm
kind of like, look, I'm who I am. You've asked a question. Like it suddenly got into this random and angry hate hate debate about, oh, you think this and you think this. It's like all I've told you is that I'm straight because you've asked.
now
I'm part of the city and you're part of the city, and it's just it made it impossible to even engage
uh
in anything because every time you
Interesting.
did, you would run into those kind of conflicts, and since when the hell should anyone's sexuality turn into that?
I
You know,
find it
it's
weird that there's a place in this planet where people just walk around asking each other what their sexual orientation
oh,
is.
believe me, that definitely exists. I could name
Interesting.
it, but then we would get into
No, no. I tell
places
you
and
what, if it's true, I'm definitely gonna look into it. But this sounds a bit weird. So yeah.
because of that optimism thing we were talking about before. If
hmm
you look into it, you'll see nothing but positive comments about that stuff. and commentary on that particular city. People like to hide shit like that for the sake
Huh.
of looking great.
Interesting. This is the way I look at life. If you're honest with yourself and you're tolerant and accepting of other people's uh, lifestyles, um, you should really have no reason to hide anything. I think it's the
In other
people
words, you
that.
should be happy to be yourself, right? And you
Oh,
should know who you
absolutely.
are.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think in self introspect, being self introspective is very important. So
Yeah. Although the thing I've found in 30 years is maybe it might be a New Zealand society thing or not. I don't know,
it could be. Yeah, I've never been to New
but
Zealand, so this is totally from
yeah, but
your
New Zealand,
perspective.
but
Yeah.
for the most part, is a Western nation, right? So, like
Hmm.
generally speaking, the social norms and everything tend to apply across the board, if not just generically.
Hmm. Okay. Yeah. No. No. Western culture has a huge effect globally. I completely understand, in a lot of negative ways too. And I think we're actually exploring one of those negative ways right now. So, but we're sitting here like squeezing Brian out of the conversation. I apologize for that.
Oh, it's all
So,
good, bud. It's all good, man.
I
yeah,
mean, open debate is what they used to teach us in high school and stuff, right?
yeah, hmm
Which is
and that's
that's a concept that nobody understands anymore either, right? Unless it's on like a a high enough level, so to speak. The concept of
I
debate, where it's just open ideas and it's just like, hey man, you got something,
mm,
chime in, you know?
I agree with that. That's why I haven't gone off the handle, because I do understand that. I do, but I want to caveat that with this: not all ideas are equal. And I'm going to say here, I think my idea of tolerance and acceptance is better than yours. So I just want to put that out there, because I don't want anybody to get the wrong idea that I'm equalizing you in my ideas. So
I mean, everyone's open to what they want to think, right? Goes back to what I said before. Everyone's allowed to
this is
be
true.
themselves, but it's basically you don't mess with me, I don't mess with you kind of thing.
Yeah, and you know what? I think, and just like almost all debates when it comes to stuff like this, I almost feel like it's going down a morality conversation. Like, what do you find is moral compared to what I find is moral, and etc. An ethics,
That
like a meta ethics
that's a
thing.
very deep one to go down though, because we're all about the same
Mhm.
age, assumingly, and we all grew up with that being taught, right? Like, is that guys find girls and you have a family, you settle down, kind of thing.
I was
But
taught that, and I was totally
it's
wrong.
not. Well, yeah. I mean, some of the elements of why that was brought up into global education and stuff is, I guess, can be wrong for multiple reasons. But
Mhm.
like, it doesn't mean that what we're learning now is any truer or false than back then either. Just potentially some of the intentions behind them. Like some religious schools, for example. If you were a Catholic school or whatever like that, then you probably would have been brought up like that, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Like stuff
No,
like
no,
that.
yeah,
It's
I completely agree. Yeah, it's not being brought up. I mean, it is being brought up, but it's an indoctrinating.
it's part of
Yeah,
upbringing, right? Like,
yeah, yeah. Indoctrination into whatever your parents believe is like what being raised by your parents is.
well, like
It's a
if
yeah.
you're a guy, if you're a male, a boy, whatever, like if you if you go into an all boys school, for example, you probably don't get a lot of interaction with the opposite sex. So regardless of what your sexuality and gender is, you'll there's no real kind of way to open up to inclusiveness, really,
Say that again.
or at
I'm
least in
sorry.
my experience. Like, so I don't know what it's like in the U.S. and that, but like over here, you've got single sex schools, and then you've got what do they call it? Like co-ed, I guess.
Like all boys school, all girls school, like
Yeah.
the Catholic.
Really? So that's
Oh,
like
is that
like
where it stems
how
from?
is that is
Huh.
that where is that how the schools are there in New Zealand? Primarily like same sex schools,
Yeah, it's primarily same
or
sex, and then there's a few that are kind of like co-ed,
whoa, yeah,
and
that's
it's
pretty
it's
ass
kind of messed up
backwards.
because I was under the I was under the impression that school in general should just be co-ed in general, right? It should be everyone mix of
It
everyone. And
it
then
should
if
absolutely,
you
yeah.
talk about intelligence in general, right? Like realistically, if
Hmm.
you're going to be intelligent and inclusive,
Hmm.
realistically, wouldn't every school be like, both sexes or genders or whatever? Like, wouldn't you?
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
it's very strange
Okay.
because there's like because I at one point I was part of an old boys school and it was the stigma around it was funny, and then it was very jockey. So if you weren't into sports, which I wasn't, then or at least not the sports I played, like
Hmm.
you were kind of basically outcast. So you'd go to school every day, learn the same shit, but you couldn't engage in any of those extracurricular activities.
I can kind of feel that sentiment. I wasn't a sports person when I was in high school, and you do feel kind of outcast. However, so I gravitated toward like the grungy stoner kids, and
Rebels, man.
yeah, and I found my home there, which kind of on a like a 20 like a hindsight 2020 thing, or like a double-edged sword, I guess is actually what I mean. It turned out the jocks dug the stoner kids because that's where the jocks got their drugs from. So it was like, oh, okay, cool, I'm
If
accepted
you've
by
got
the
something
jocks
they
in some
need,
way.
then you're useful.
Right, that's yeah, that's definitely the society that we're all raised in, unfortunately.
I
So
was so alone in high school I didn't have to be part of anything.
mm,
The library and books were my best friend.
library and books. I get the loner thing. But I think community is important, especially to grow as a person.
Yeah, but the
Even
thing
if it's
is,
like
even if you
like-minded
want it, doesn't
people.
mean you get it.
Oh, that's a
Just
good
because
point.
it's,
Yeah.
just so if you're in high school and you don't want to be bullied, doesn't mean you don't get bullied. You know, if you're alone in high school, whether you choose to be or not, doesn't mean
Hmm.
that you magically get included in shit. It still means
Yeah.
you're the last person that gets picked for a sports team in phys ed. It still means that you're like nobody wants to have lunch with you or whatever.
Hmm.
Like
What now you earlier you had made a comment that we're all probably the same age. I doubt that. I'm just curious about how old are
like
you? You
30s,
can just
40s.
tell. I'm 44. No secret there.
I'm like 31. Well, yeah,
31.
31.
Okay.
It's been a while since I thought about age because
Right.
I get the same. I get like all these comments about looking younger and all this shit, and it's like it doesn't help my life in any way, shape, or form because people are judgmental either way.
Actually,
Oh,
Coach
you're
Yakun,
old. You should have a family. You
there's
know,
actually a huge difference in calling a gay person fruity and an athlete a jock. There's a huge difference. Like, there's a
Coach Yaku.
huge difference. Like, that's, yeah. Anyway, I don't even want to go down the whole
I
equivocation
mean,
fallacy thing, but
that's that whole argument of labeling, right?
hmm, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well,
I
then
mean,
then,
and
then again, though, it's like
yeah,
fruity is like a bad. It's like a negative slang, whereas like a jock is a. It's like a high school subculture or something.
yeah, exactly, exactly. Yeah, see, that's the difference. Yeah, one's yeah, exactly.
I mean, I guess like
Other
if
than
you were gonna call a
opinion.
jock anything that would relate to the term fruity, it would be like a musclehead or something.
All right, guys, I got to step away from a moment. Brian, go ahead and say whatever you want because I know Possible and I have taken over this whole thing. But please, please don't
The
say
stage is
anything to get.
yours.
Yeah, tread lightly, you two.
Tread lightly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
when you get back, World War III would have started, man. Like,
Yeah.
I'll be right back.
I mean, like for me, like growing up, growing up was like pretty old school to where you see like the homosexuality was bad and all this other stuff, but then in school when you're reading about like Roman history and all this other stuff, and Romans were a lot of them were bisexual, so it's just after a while, like when you're mentally mature and all this other stuff, then because at first for a while it's like that's weird, but then teenage years hit, and then you come across like every other teenage boy, we come across porn, and then we watch like girl on girl or two guys, one girl, two girls, one guy. Then after that, it just becomes normal. And then after a while, like don't you just like whatever because it's kind of in a way it's kind of like normal. Um, and then when I called this one dude I used to work with. I called him Skittles because he was just flaming. So, but he was a cool dude. I mean, like I had no beef with him. I mean, he always poked fun at me about being a mixed breed. So I poked at him about being gay. But we always had no beef with each other because it's like I know which line I don't cross, and he knows which line not to cross.
Exactly what I was saying
Um,
before, right? Just
no,
let
I,
me
I
be
mean, yeah, I
me,
mean,
and
yeah, I mean, like we could poke fun at each other because like one time I was like, "Hey Matt, man, can you help me out with these jugs real quick? Because I gotta unload because I'm unloading the water truck because we ordered like the big Ozarka jugs." And he goes, he's like, "That's a man's job," and I just went, "Well, you're the only guy around here." And he goes, "Not today. I'm a bitch today." And I just like start laughing, you know. So it's like that. It's like after a while, it's like I really don't care. I mean, and then but it's just like nowadays, like the whole adding. I mean, I even like one of the guys that I used to work with. I mean, he's a gay dude, and I even asked him, I said, "Dude, what's up with all these extra letters?" And he just said, "Dude," he's like, "Man, bro, as a gay guy, that's too much for me to understand and break and dissect and break down."
yeah, I've
So
met
he,
people from the community as well that have had the same thing. They're like, yeah, like I'm part of that community, but I don't identify with the activism and stuff that they do and all that. Like
yeah.
there are like lines and divides and stuff, which
Uh, Bada bing, I don't have that power. This is a
yeah,
Blazon's cast. Um, so, but yeah, so that I mean, after a while, just like okay, so even if I like a couple of gay people that I know that I ask that question, like, what's all this, and then they don't even know. They're just like they're pretty much like me. It's like you got your gay, lesbian, uh, trans, and bisexual. Just leave it alone at that. All the other stuff, because now I mean, it's just now all this.
it'll
I'm
become one hell of an acronym, right?
I'm still trying to figure out like the non-binary and this that. I'm like that's just too much. That's too much. I'm just like, all right, well, you go ahead and do you, and I'll just whatever. Because I mean, now that I'm older, I mean, I really don't give a shit. I
Yeah,
don't. Um, I mean, because I
you
mean, I
tell.
know. No, I mean, I know a lot of gay people. I'm cool with a lot of gay people, and we all live our lives. I mean, we all have our kicks, so it ain't no big deal.
Bada Bing looks like he's
Super.
ready to go. He's like, oh
Yeah,
hell no,
but I
get
mean,
me in
but
on this.
it's just like we all get along. I mean, I mean, we all can get along. But there's one or two things, like having common ground. I mean,
I think the common ground is being human.
yeah, you're being human, you're having an experience.
But the
Um,
problem is when the experience of being human gets affected by people that want to control that experience,
yeah,
whether they want to come across that way or not.
I can see that. I mean, but I've seen like what I've experienced over my lifetime is just like we can work together. We can, we can coexist. Because I mean, um, there was during my ER tenure, there was a person that died in a car crash that was hit by a drunk driver, and all of us that because she worked in the ER, and the ER we're very diverse, and I was really amazed that after we had the funeral, so we had this that we went to the reception area that was in the church, and the food was getting prepped. I mean, there was like Indian food, Asian food, white food, white people, and then we had like some Nigerian food, and everybody was intermingling. Like everybody was getting like a plate. Let me get a sample of this. Let me sample it. Everybody was talking, congregating. It's like we can coexist. So think about it. We got all these nationalities, all these different religious backgrounds, but we're all together. Just um, we can coexist, but it's just we got some knucklehead that just wants to flex.
Who's that? Who's the knucklehead that's flexing?
No,
Yeah,
no, it's just with all the like like the dictators in other countries, we
Hmm.
all can coexist, but it's just you always got one knucklehead that wants to flex, like Kim Jong
there's
Un.
also
And
there's a debate with money and greed and capitalism as well, which is a whole different thing, I
Ooh,
guess.
let's go down this rabbit hole. I love it. I'm
Yeah, you look
curious to know.
prepared, Tyson.
I'm curious. Actually, no, I am very prepared. I'm curious to know your opinion on capitalism.
Mine or
I'm all for it.
Yeah, yours possible.
uh, I think we're I think we as humans are at a point where you can't. We're so used to certain systems being in place that capitalist societies are gonna be capitalist societies because the idea of uh, I guess communism and all the opposites of that. Um, like everybody, I guess the term that we would use would be that we're all kind of stuck in our ways to a point where it's like to fix an entire kind of system and the way that everything works is kind of why we're having conflicts with people at the moment because of COVID and the way it's affecting the world.
Sorry, hold on.
So as far as capitalism and stuff goes, I mean, in theory, in essence, if we're looking at like school textbooks and shit, learning about it, then technically both of them sound good, right? But
Mhm.
uh, I mean, there's that thing with communism, right, where they were saying that like years ago, they were saying like China tried to roll out communism or whatever, but it was never perfect, and it's like the same with capitalism.
Mhm.
They roll it out, but it has all of its drawbacks. People are always
Yeah,
trying to one up each other. People are always trying to make more than one another. You go to the casino, that is capitalism right there.
I
Every
agree. I
goddamn poker
agree.
game, somebody can buy in with
Yeah.
more chips than somebody else, and you've instantly got an advantage.
And
Yep. I agree.
everybody supports capitalism. If you have an iPhone, you go to Starbucks, you go to
No,
Chipotle.
no, no, that's communism. Everybody's got the same phone and the same network.
But there's only
No,
one
I
way to
think
go.
that's more.
iPhone,
I
baby.
think that's more capitalism, but um,
It's
it's
I guess buying it is capitalism, but like the
yeah,
the
yeah.
Apple
No,
the
yeah, yeah,
Apple ethos is
Using
yeah.
communism.
using the ser- yeah using the
No,
services is
I think to better illustrate what possible, I think what he's trying to say. I'm totally trying to still Manny here, so if I'm wrong, please interrupt me. The iPhone. Let's take the iPhone for example. The technology that built that all came from DARPA, which is a government-run program paid by tax money. Then somebody with capital took those ideas and put it into a phone and sold it. I think that's what you were trying to say, correct?
Um, in regards to the capitalism side of it, the communism side.
Both, actually. Like
I mean,
it was society with tax money. And I'm using this term socialism in a very loose way. I'd rather not, but that would be the socialism or the yeah the socialism aspect, and then a capitalist taking those ideas and that technology and then selling it to the masses in the form of a phone would be the capitalist part.
yeah, like the
Mhm.
creation of the phones themselves is one thing, but the network that you then
Yeah.
get locked into is yeah.
Hmm.
But the funny thing is like um it's at the point now where unless you're a certain brand, you basically if you're a certain brand known for certain technological advancements, then you can put all those advancements in your phone or your gadgets and your devices. But
Hmm.
if you're not those particular brand, like if you're not Samsung with their OLED or something, or their AMOLED or whatever the hell it is now, or like
Hmm.
Sony with their cameras or whatever, if you're not in those particular two brands, then basically all of your stuff will be outsourced to this and that and every other thing because other companies want the best. Like Apple would want a good camera.
Hmm.
They'll want a good screen, all that kind of stuff. I don't know. I always find it funny. I mean, I don't even use an Apple device, period.
Oh, I'm an
But
Android guy, but just we're just using Apple as a example. So
I mean, anybody that took a device, took a brand, and decided to name it after a fruit, Apple's just a weird name.
Kind of is.
Hey,
Bada
if you
bing,
got an
how's it
Apple,
going?
yeah, no, let me pop down to my local 7-Eleven. I'll go buy you a damn apple. Oh, I was talking
7-Eleven
about the
sells
$1,000.
apples.
I keep seeing deleted comments. Who's deleting comments?
Who knows?
Blondie.
I just
Oh,
saw these.
Blondie.
Definitely. Look, with Apple, like all I can say is that the iPad, Apple iPad, there is no, no competitor to the Apple iPad. I'm an Android. I'm an Android person, wholeheartedly. And you know what? I will sit there and I will still use an iPad because it is nothing competes. Nothing competes in any way, shape, or form. So it's kind of weird how even as an Android user, I will use an Android phone. I will use a PC, over a Mac and everything else in my job, and Apple has substantial advantages in my job, what I do.
Mm-hmm.
But I still use a PC. But at the end of the day, nothing, nothing can compete with an iPad. Android in all its different shapes and forms and different companies and everything else. They've tried, but
Mm-hmm.
nothing can compete
I
with
think
an
it,
iPad. So
I mean, the tablet is an interesting device because it's almost like it got created. Samsung had a tablet, and then Apple had a tablet, and Sony had a tablet at one point, which
yep,
was designed to be their flagship tablets. But that was in a time when Sony was actually properly competing in the tablet market and the laptop market and everything with their Sony BIOS and everything. But then Apple just became one of the only companies making a tablet, and then everyone wanted
yeah,
a high quality tablet. So as far as that screen size and everything, it's basically a bigger phone. Damn it!
I
no,
I
remember
don't.
I
it's
remember
true.
the
That's
View.
very
I
true.
remember the View.
And to be honest with you, the you think the Microsoft
Oh yeah,
Surface
that.
Pro, you know, yeah, that was brought in as a competitor to the tablet, the iPhone tablet and everything else. And then the iPhone tablet, the iPhone Pro, tablet Pro, or whatever coming out, and there was this whole shit fight. But at the end of the day, they separated themselves because it was sorry, excuse me. It was so different, the Surface, the Microsoft Surface Pro right now is one of the most amazing machines that I've ever worked on. It is phenomenal, and I'm not taking away from the iPad Pros or whatever they want to be called right now. They are phenomenal as well, but just the Surface Pro. Microsoft has literally come leaps and bounds, but they have differentiated themselves out. It's like we're not competing against the iPad. We are a different game changer and go from
Well,
there. So
I
it's
mean,
kind of really really cool.
a Surface is designed to be a essentially a laptop, but a thinner version of it, a lighter version of it. Whereas a
Yeah.
tablet has to add a keyboard to semi be like an iMac or whatever they call them nowadays. I
I
don't know.
think
I've
it's
never
just
had enough
Mac.
money to buy all those top line stuff, but reading the website specs is fun.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's look, the Microsoft Surface. I have seen. I've been in a training course with a guy that actually was running a Microsoft Surface tablet, and he was running his servers offline and doing everything on that, and it was absolutely amazing to see the technology and the power and everything else. And like I said, I respect. I would take an iPad any day of the week. I hate Apple products, but nothing can compete. to an Apple iPad. So it's kind of weird. It's an interesting thing from a technology perspective and a what you prefer perspective and everything else. So I'm an Android, through and through, but nothing can beat an iPad. Nothing can beat an iPad. I think it's just amazing. So it's interesting discussion.
I mean,
Hmm.
Apple always had artistic, like technologically artistic applications and devices and stuff. They kind of always had that by the balls compared to the other companies that were competing.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
Like anyone that was a graphic design, like there was a guy that used to be on here, SJ Custom Art or whatever, and he he was like a very interesting middle ground between technology and traditional art because he would be like painting a drawing or something like that on paper with the phone looking down on it or whatever, and then other times he would be on an iPad that he had purchased on like I can't remember what the name of the application was, but he'd be drawing on that, and it was a lot easier to do that, I guess, and maybe screen grab or something. And um, but it was like it was showcasing the benefits of both. It's like of how if you're using a tablet, then you have access to all the different brushes without physically having to have the brushes there, and you can change everything, and it's easier to erase and all that kind of stuff. But there are a lot of people that have iPads and Apple devices that don't use them for those purposes,
But
which kind of feels.
what I
Yeah,
think is interesting though, as a phone, the whole Android versus Apple, is a very tight fight, globally in terms of sales and everything else. Some months, Apple is the leader, and other months the Android is the leader. You know, as a phone, I kind of respect that. Okay, fine, I got no issues with that. But as a tablet, there is no competition. I don't like Apple, but I will say that the iPad is there is no contender to that. There is no contender to the iPad. There is
I
nothing
mean,
that comes into it. But then
I
when
mean,
you
you
go to
mentioned
the next
Surface, but
level,
Surface is like the only thing that's competing in that
no,
same.
no,
Well,
but the Surface is not just a tablet. The
yeah,
Surface
that's true.
nowadays is fighting the Apple computers and laptops. So
Yeah, that's true.
even there even Microsoft has recognised that nothing can beat the iPad, and I respect that. It's like I had an iPad for years, and I loved that. And I hate Apple. I never owned anything Apple in my life except for that iPad, and that iPad was amazing. It was amazing. It was phenomenal. So, it's one of those things that it's like Microsoft has taken its fight and gone, well, shit. You know, the iPad is untouchable. So let's go for the next level and build and do that and so on and so forth. So I just think it's a really, really, really interesting marketing. It's a marketing fight. It's a marketing fight. It's what it is, and it's amazing how certain products are 50-50. And when it comes to phones, it's 50-50. Apple and Android. When it comes to tablets, it's purely Apple. When it comes to laptops and everything else, well, then that's a whole new shit fight. It's just amazing. And it comes down to personal preference. So it's all good. I just think it's amazing. How we differ in all this stuff. So anyway, all good.
I will say Apple does fail when it comes to what do you call it to if you want to like an iPad, as far as I'm aware, never has a headphone jack.
Hey,
It's like
Susan.
they've done away with it and just assumed that everyone can afford Bluetooth headphones or wants to use Bluetooth
No,
headphones.
no, look, no, no. Android's done the same thing. So even Samsung,
Sony has it.
no, even Android's done the same thing. They've recognised. So about 10 years ago, the EU, the EU region, actually brought a lawsuit against Apple and Android about all the different types of chargers and everything else, and all well, if you buy a new phone, you need to buy a new charger and all these new adapters, and the EU tried to control that and tell them to shut up, but they lost, and so even now, I'm on a brand new Android phone. I've had this a year. I've had to buy new chargers, new everything, new headphones, new everything because nothing's the same, just same as Apple. But that is, that's the ancillary income that the device manufacturers make, and that is massive money for them. So they might make a loss on a phone, but they will make 10 times the profit on the ancillary products like a charger and headphones and adapters and everything else. So it's smart business. It's shit business because we're going to pay for it, but it's smart business. So, yeah.
So I just want to make a comment real quick. I'm actually shocked to see Tony D up at this hour.
Yeah,
Yeah, I didn't know he was
but
up this late.
I'm fighting to stay
Well,
awake. I'm gonna go ahead and drop down.
Okay.
But
Thanks
what's
thank you
up,
for
for
butter?
popping
having
up,
me
Listen,
man.
on.
Yeah. Have a great one, man.
All right,
yeah.
y'all be
Ryan,
easy.
love you, man.
All right, y'all take it easy, guys.
Bye.
Where's Bada Bing? He was talking about wanting to join. Did he join at some point?
Bada
Or
bing. That's who you were just
oh yeah,
talking
oh
about with
yeah.
phones.
Oh my bad. I don't know. It's like names and profile
No,
photos and whatever.
you're good. You're good.
All good,
Uh,
man. All good.
yeah.
Although it's funny, people don't seem to notice that no one really pays much attention to Sony unless they do a high end product. Like in New Zealand,
Like
it was kind of funny
PlayStation.
with cameras. Well, it was funny in New Zealand. It's with cameras.
Hmm.
Like people got marketed Canon cameras for the longest time, and you would meet people and they would swear black and blue that Canon was like top of the line. I got told to replace my Sony camera kit to attend a photography school years ago in like 2015, 2016, because they didn't know how to actually they didn't know how to work a Sony menu in a camera. And I was like, well, I've got a professional photography friend that's told me it's perfectly fine. And they were like, well, we use Canon and Nikon here. And it was kind of shocking. Like it was an
Yeah.
institution that was teaching the same technical stuff, and I would have known how to use my camera, but they were like, no, you have to get rid of that, and you have to get a Canon and a Nikon, and I mean, but then Sony brought out one of these. I don't know how into photography you guys are, but um,
Not much. I enjoy good photography, but I'm not a photographer.
I mean, they brought out this. Well, they brought out this camera which was getting marketed globally as like a low light killer. You could take a photo in an almost dark room and it would look like daylight, kind of thing.
Mhm.
And suddenly everybody with any sort of money basically started buying it up like left, right, and center. And suddenly Canon wasn't a big brand anymore, or it was, but everyone's kind of like, why the hell do I even have this? I can go and buy a Sony. And I mean, globally, when you read reviews of stuff like phones and everything, people kind of do the same thing. Like nobody really reviews a Sony product alongside an Android product, alongside an Apple product,
Yeah.
because it's seen as Apple versus Samsung. And last I checked, I can't even remember a high quality Samsung product other than a TV.
Actually, I think their Samsung phones are pretty good. I got a S10. It's old now, but I think technology. I think one issue with it when we talk about technology is it's advancing at such a rate, and
Yeah,
and then coupled with the economic system in which we live under, it it's like we're almost we're almost geared to have to try to to keep up, but a lot of us can't. So,
I've got, I've got,
13, but I
I've
hear
got
you.
two Samsungs. I've got two Samsungs. I've got an S21 Ultra, which I'm talking to you on right now, which is amazing. The
That's
camera
like their
is
current latest model, right?
exactly, and the camera is fucking phenomenal. Absolutely fucking. I have taken photos of the moon that my best mate, who is a professional photographer, who has professional cameras, can't take in the same photos. So he is in awe of that. But but there are some things I can't do on this phone that I have to rely on my Samsung S7, and I like I said, I literally have to work my two phones. I got an S7 and an S21 that and I keep my S7 because my S21 won't do certain things that my S7 will do, and go from there. So it's kind of crazy. It's really kind of crazy. That's the Android ecosystem,
Mm-hmm.
and Apple doesn't have that, which is like I said, kind of cool, but it's kind of shit that Samsung can't get their shit together, so I can view a video, a live video, a live broadcast on Twitter, and my S21, Ultra, won't broadcast it. So it's bullshit.
You know what this reminds me of, and this is just as a juxtaposition, but back when I was a kid, I remember listening to my dad and his brothers or my uncles or my dad and his friends be like, Ford is better, Dodge is better, Chevrolet is better. You know what I mean?
My truck will beat your car, kind of thing.
Yes, yes, yes.
My
It's
monster
so
truck's bigger than your
funny.
truck.
Yes. Oh, it's so weird.
Well,
It's
well, I
just
Technology
can
will
like
say,
divide us all.
I can,
technology
I
will
can, I
divide
can,
us
I
all.
can, I can honestly tell you that my best mate, who is a professional photographer, actually a professional photographer, no, he's got cameras that are worth $20,000, $30,000 each. Um, I took some photos of the moon one night and sent it to him, and I did my Samsung can do like 120 times zoom and everything else. So I actually had some amazing photos of the moon just from my literally where I'm sitting right now on my back porch, and I sent it to my best mate, and he sent me a photo from his iPhone and just went fuck you, and then literally through the night he went and took photos from his best cameras, and he's probably got literally $200,000-300,000 worth of professional cameras in his house, and he went and took
He needs a new
photos and
hobby.
he went and
He
set
needs a
them,
new hobby.
and none of them got the clarity that I got, and I went, well, bitch, I spent $1,200 on this phone. How much have you spent? And he went, fuck you, you're not invited up to me ever again. It's crazy though, just the technology that goes into the phones nowadays, and you know,
Some
like
kid is laughing at us, saying those old fogies.
Yep,
no,
that's
it's true.
cool.
No, but you think about it. No, but you need to think about it. Like I'm 46 years old. I would buy a camera, a good digital camera. But I don't need to buy a good digital camera nowadays because my phone takes better photos than a digital camera nowadays that's on the
Mhm.
market. I
Yep.
120 megapixels. So we're all changing. It's all so different and weird and everything else. And the whole thing about taking a photo is so different to what we were. Well,
We don't have
like
to
I said,
develop
I'm
film
40.
anymore.
No, we
No,
don't have
no,
to develop film, but I think the culture of taking pictures has been with ingrained in society even before cell phones. I think Polaroid started it, to tell you the truth. Instant
yeah, but
photo
Instant
capturing.
instant cameras.
Yep,
yeah,
instant cameras.
but the whole
Yeah.
thing is, you had an old school camera with a memory card and everything else. If you had a Polaroid or anything else, you
Yeah,
would know. I'll take 3 or 4 photos with the mobile phones. With mobile phones, you take 20, 30 photos. You do that with a live action. You do this, you do that. It's changed. It's changed the way we actually take photos. It's so different. It's so different.
it has. Yep,
Don't
it's
even get us started on live
instantaneous.
streaming
Oh my, yeah,
and the
right.
webcams that you
As
need, right?
right as we live stream. Yeah.
The webcams versus the internet speeds.
Mm.
Literally
Oh,
all of my broadcasts, like last year, were basically I'm trying to find internet speeds that will let me broadcast properly. Oh, I'm trying to find this, and it's like because I knew I had a flagship phone. It was like, yeah, where's my internet speeds?
Hmm.
People were like, you're lagging and all this stuff. It's like, yeah, I, I, I can't do much about that.
do you know what's really fucked up? And I've lived overseas. I've lived and worked
Great follow
overseas
up.
for many years. I've lived and worked overseas for many years, right? So, um, back in the day, like I lived in London and I married a Swedish woman, and so therefore Sweden. And well before here in Australia, we had broadband and everything else. I was in Sweden, and of course, I work in tech. I work in tech, and I do this sort of stuff. And we moved house, and she said, "Oh, we need to get internet," and they're asking these questions, and I'm like, "Oh, well, we'll get this and this." And they just said, "Well, we don't do that." And it's like, "What do you mean you don't do that?" It's like, "Well, no, we don't care about data. We care about speed. You pay for your speed, not about your data. Your data is unlimited, but it's about your speed." Now, this was 15 years ago. 15 years ago, right? Now, Australia is just coming into this right now, where it's like, oh no, you need data. Oh, what speed do you want, and everything else. But this was years ago. So we are so far fucking behind the 8 ball in Australia and everything else. And I'd probably say in the US as well is so far
Hmm.
fucking behind. But in Europe, 15 years ago, they're not talking about how much data you're using, it's what speed you want. Do you want
So
super fast speed and everything else? And this was the norm. This was normal. It's like, what the fuck? Like, what
I
the
don't.
fuck? Like,
I don't know if a lot of people know this, but this is here's a weird factoid. The internet speed, at least here in America, could be so much faster, but our government literally throttles it back unless
What the hell?
you're like
what?
like Japan's internet speed is so much farther ahead of ours. We have that technology, but it's literally throttled back for us
But
I
because
why?
mean, South
why?
Korea is
Because
supposed to have one of the fastest, but yeah, it's kind of sad if you
yeah.
have the capability to, but it's kind of like, hold up,
Well,
we're not gonna let you do
see,
that.
and this sounds kind of conspiracy theorist, but it's
Lay
basically
it on us, man.
just wow, you sounded just like a buddy of mine from Tennessee. Um,
It's a
but
system, man. They're trying to restrict
it
us doing what we like to do, man.
actually it is a little about restricting us and our access because if we had the full throttle of the internet, the average person, like the hackers would be more of a threat to the government. So it's like, okay, let's dial those back. And yeah,
If we
it's
stop
a
them
weird
now,
thing.
it's not a threat in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that,
Why
but that,
fight with guns when we can fight with throttling the
Yeah,
internet?
but
basically.
look. This to me is like that excuse doesn't work. Like, it doesn't work. It doesn't compute right. So
Well,
because
like I said, I mean, it's more nuanced than that, but I'm way too stoned and intoxicated to get dive deep into it.
We need
no,
far
no,
more
no,
coffee
no.
for that.
I hear you, and I think we're on the same page. But this
Hmm.
this to me is where Mark Zuckerberg was pulled up in front of the Senate, and he was asked questions about the internet and everything else, and it's like, um, sorry, but who the fuck are you? You know, you have no idea what, you don't even know what the internet is, and you're asking somebody and trying to judge them on on a whole fucking, it's like, are you serious? Like the US, and look, here in Australia, we're the same. Like our our people, like, oh my god, can I tell you a story? So I work
Yes.
for a major bank. I work for a major bank, like one of the top four banks in Australia. And I work for the digital arm. So we looked after internet banking, we looked after mobile apps, we looked after all of that, did everything else. Our managing director of that was a 60-year-old woman who had no idea what a mobile phone was or what digital was or anything else. And she used to say in her speeches, "Oh, my daughter told me about this and blah, 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 and everything else." It was like, oh my fucking God, we've got somebody leading us that has no idea what we do, and yet she's telling us what to do. And
That sounds like the American government.
you know what? It's the Australian government, I can tell you that much. It's ridiculous. But at the end of the day, we had somebody that was just a figurehead leading us, and it was like, you do not know what we do. You have no idea. Your daughters have more clue what we do, so they should be in your position and getting paid $700,000 a year to do what you do. It's like, you fucking joking. It was a fucking joke, and this is the sad days of where we are in terms of old school people running teams that have no fucking idea what digital and online and everything means, and people like us trying to make a living and understanding this and sitting there and getting paid peanuts. And it's like, it's a fucking joke. It's an absolute fucking joke. Sorry, rant over. My apologies.
So it's infrastructure.
And the
No,
inefficiency use of the resource called money.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Really, we at least agree on that.
I
All
don't
right,
know if
cool.
it's I don't know if it's infrastructure. I don't know. I don't know if it's that. It's old school mentality versus new school knowledge, and old school mentality is literally raking the beans, while
Hmm.
the entrepreneurs and the new school mentality are literally being slammed down, and that's what I hate. That's what I hate.
So I'd like to make a point right now, and I'm sorry if I'm getting too deep at the moment, but this conversation we're having and listening to Richie, it's almost as if I'm hearing somebody bitch about the capitalist system we live under, but at the same time not realizing that that is which the problem is, and we want to use capitalism to fix itself.
Yeah. I mean, when you
Yeah,
get into that, that's getting pretty deep, man. Now we're getting
that's
heavy.
getting pretty deep. Yeah. So
If
that's
I
that
had coffee, I'd
capitalist
pour it over them.
realism. Yeah, it's definitely, yeah. Capitalist realism is a pretty deep subject. Yeah,
And then America's got the deep state and everything as well, right?
that's what I keep hearing.
We don't talk about that.
Yeah, but the same people who bitch about the deep state are the same people who think John F. K. Jr. is gonna be resurrected or some shit. I don't know.
Hey,
It all
Blaze,
loops
look,
back to the system, man.
It all goes back to the system. What's up, Richie?
no, look, Blazing, look, you may be 100% correct. I don't know. Like I said, I'm just venting my frustrations. And
No, you're
look, at the end
good.
of the
I
day,
just I,
no,
I, I just I hear it a lot. It's it's the frustration of of the labor of the workers of the world. Like I get it, we all do it, but that's the frustration that of the economic system that we live under, and that's the frustration
No,
that we all
can I
vent.
can I can I add
And
something?
I just like to point that out whenever I witness it because I want people to realize that.
No. Look, I truly appreciate that, but I need to add something to that to make sure you know who I am. Is
Hmm.
you know, I was a very highly paid executive. I was very highly paid. So, me bitching about this stuff is whether my pay level is $60,000 a year or my pay level is $250,000 a year, which I've done both of.
Hmm.
My complaints are exactly the same. So I
Hmm.
don't want you to feel that I'm an embattled worker, fighting the system. I've
No,
been at the
no.
top. I've been at the very, very, very top, and I
Hmm.
still complain about the same shit because I dealt with the same shit. You deal whatever your level. It's the depth that varies the shit you deal with, right? So,
Hmm.
you know, I've dealt with all levels. So, like I said, at the end of the day, I've dealt with it all, and I sit back and I'm just stunned half the time. It's like, oh my god, we need to do better. We need to do better.
I
And
completely agree with that.
it's like, and I did when I was a high ranking exec. I donated money. I was at a food truck, literally 3 times a week, donating my time in, and I'm a fucking good cook. So you know what, the food truck had some good food that day. you know and I was always trying to do better, and I'm in a lesser position I am now, working for a global company, but I am pushing them to try and do better, in the world, and do something for people that are disadvantaged. And I'm trying to do better. I'm trying to do good. I'm done. I'm 46 years old. I've got two amazing, beautiful children that live on the other side of the world that I love and adore and I support with everything. And at the end of the day, you know what? I'm trying to do something good with my life,
Yeah,
and if I can get my company to do something good with what we do, then it's a fucking win for me. So, I'm trying. I'm trying. I'm trying to be good. I'm trying to be a good person.
good. I think that's important. It's very important.
We're
Thank
probably
you
the
for
last
sharing that.
generation that knows what that is. Being a good person and everything.
Well, that's a whole nother discussion. What is a good
It
person? But
is.
let's not go down that rabbit
Well,
hole.
I mean, if we
Like,
generalize
dude,
it,
I
it's
can go down rabbit holes all night. Like, honestly, I've been sitting here, like, scratching my palm. Like, should I bring up the discussion of free will? Should I
I
do
mean,
it?
it's your broadcast.
It is my
Hell,
broadcast, yes.
All I can say
Um,
is I work in a company that we sell hearing aids. So therefore we help people that are partially deaf hear better and actually have a better life with their people. All I want to do is actually help somebody that is so underprivileged and can't afford a good set of hearing aids, is do that. Now that's $10,000. That's
mhm.
$10,000. Our revenue is $4 to $5 million a month. I'm
so is
Wow.
that
fight.
easily doable?
I am fighting. I am fighting for one set of $10,000 hearing aids a month. That's what I'm fighting for at the moment.
Whoa.
So that's
That,
that's what I'm doing. That's what
yeah.
I'm trying. That's what I'm trying
Hmm.
to do right now with my head office.
Whoa. You know what? It's sad to say, but You could probably go on like GoFundMe and get that $10,000 for what you want to do a lot faster than relying on the CEO of a company. Be like, yeah, let me take some money out of my profits.
No, but no, but dude, seriously, we're a global company, and we, and my company makes billions, billions of dollars a
Hmm.
month.
And you're
Now
sitting
in
there just
Australia,
trying to scratch 10 grand. No, no, I
now
feel that
no,
frustration. I know
no.
I do.
In Australia, we do $4 to $5 million a month. A month.
Hmm.
I'm looking for a one-off $10,000 maximum, and it may not be $10,000. It could be seven. I'm talking about the top end, the actually top end of hearing aids. You know, I'm looking for that, and they're fighting me
So
on that. It's like, are you serious? Like, are you
out
absolutely fucking
out
serious?
of curiosity, I don't know, how did you try to sell the idea? If you try to find, all right, and I'm just going to say that if you try to sell your idea in a way that will benefit the company in a profitable way, it might help because that's the system
You know
in
what?
which we
You
live
know what?
under.
I'm old school. I'm old school marketing, right? So at the end of the day, if we help someone out, with somebody that can't afford proper hearing aids that will make their life better, then we can market that. We can do that. We can actually say we help this person, blah
Hmm.
blah blah, X, Y, and Z. The marketing potential is going to be
Yeah.
substantial, and it
So
costs us
just
nothing. It
I
costs
just
us.
I
It
just want
costs
to
us.
I just want to make a comment to the comment section real quick. ER nurse and Emmanuel, um, the company he works for, I he can answer if he wants, but to tell you the truth, if he were to answer that, he could be doxing himself and internet and being protective of each other. I'm just saying. So anyway, go ahead.
Well, the company I work for is the third largest manufacturer of hearing aids. Last I looked up, so it may have changed. But anyway, look, at the end of the day, look, it's a
Wow, and they
global
still
company.
can't give like that is such selfishness. Not from
Capitalism.
you, but from them.
No, no. Look,
Wow.
hear me out here. So global. I report to the CEO, and the CEO reports to global, and there's whole different things there. Global says X, Y, and Z, and global has no fucking idea of how Australia and New Zealand works.
Hmm.
So we do what they say, and we just operate as we do, and go from there. But
Hmm.
like I said, we could do something for somebody that is so disadvantaged, and it would cost us maybe $2,000 as a pure cost if we gave it away, gave a hearing aids away, and did everything as a pure, no, fuck it, we're gonna do this. It would cost us maybe at the top end $2,000. Now, if we're turning over, you know, 3, 4 to $5 million a month, $2,000 is nothing. So this is where I'm trying to proposition my business and saying, hey guys, we can do something here. We can do something good. We can
Hmm.
we can change somebody's life. You know, and
I'm curious to know how much. I mean, and I'm just talking about resources wise, how much it costs to make a set of top end hearing aids compared to what they're sold for profit, and how
oh
much.
oh oh
You know
oh
what I
oh.
mean?
I can tell you right now. So a
Okay.
top end set of hearing aids will sell for $5,000 to $6,000 per ear.
Okay.
Hmm.
But how much does it cost to
Per ear.
manufacture a pair?
A top end set that sells to $5,000 to $6,000 is maybe two to three max.
It costs wait 2 to 3 thousands to make it, or 2 to 3 hundred to make them.
No, two to three thousands to make them and ship them. That's the cost of production. But the cost of sale, that 2 to 3 thousand, will then turn into
Yeah.
5 to 6.
Okay.
Hmm.
Interesting.
So if you're a private person, not on government funds, top end hearing aids, you're talking $12,000 for top end hearing aids for both ears.
Wow.
That's a lot of fucking money. That's a
Yeah.
lot of fucking money.
Yes, I agree, and I
It's
also agree with Nurse Blondie too. My eyes are starting to get heavy, so it's wow. It's been late. Oh wait, nope. Tony D is in the house, so let's
Oh,
bring Tony
Tony.
D up. I did send him an invite, and I don't want to be a jerk, so Tony D is in the
we're
house.
inclusive here, right?
Yes,
I appreciate you not being a jerk. How about that?
you're welcome. And
That's
bye.
good
No.
opening.
Listen, man. What's going on?
Oh, just random,
A lot of
rapid
everything.
fire topics. Yeah.
See y'all later.
Random shit, Tony.
Mhm.
Random shit. Yeah,
Trying
that
to get
sums
my
it up.
man. I woke up late and everything. So shit.
Yeah, I remember you saying you had like 3.5 hours of sleep time before you had to get to work.
Yeah, it wasn't so much that as much as it was when I got up, my shoulder was hurting me, and I'm trying to be very cautious of that more than anything because
Mm.
it's really kicking my butt. It really is. I went to the chiropractor yesterday, and she got it feeling a little better. She said a couple more visits just so she
Yeah.
can give a diagnosis, but she couldn't
What
believe
is
how for at least 8 years. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Chiropractor.
what's up with your shoulder?
I have no idea, dude. It's bad. I can barely lift my arm. It's bad.
Mm.
I think. I
Well,
mean,
you just switch the other hand, bro. Switch to the other hand. It's okay.
first
Fine.
of all, I'm start using somebody else's. How about that?
Have you tried a masseuse instead of a chiropractor? Good night, Susan.
He
Chiropractor I
did.
have, they
He
do
did.
physical
He
therapy.
no, no. He did. He did try masseuse, but the cost was too high. Happy ending was way too
Hey,
was
listen,
way
I
too
watch
much.
the news. I watch the news. I'm not asking for it no more.
Hmm?
Have you taken that fucking Christmas tree yet?
No, I haven't. God damn it, and I don't feel like it. So the hell with all of y'all.
No,
Hey, man,
from what I
I love your
understand,
response. I love the lights. I love the lights.
I love the light.
Lights
You
make me
damn right.
happy. I support you, man. I support you.
he has a date with Davina tonight to take it down.
Somebody lied to you.
Oh, that's okay. He has a date with Davina. I got a date with Carmen. It's all good.
They will kill me. Dude, I am
There.
not dealing with that madness.
Mm-mm. No way.
I am
No,
not
no.
dealing
Wait,
with that
wait.
madness.
What?
No
What
way in hell
madness?
I'm
What are
going
you
to sit back
talking
and deal
about?
with it. Especially on the
Hmm.
internet. Y'all are nuts.
We are a bag full of nuts. I agree.
Oh, goodness
But that's
gracious.
what makes us so good. They used to call this good radio back in the day.
It is, absolutely.
Yeah.
And we are now on with Tony D. Tony, what's going on? What's on your
Tell
mind,
me,
man?
man, how you living? How you living? How you living? This thing. We here all day. You know what I mean?
We've put you on the couch tonight, Tony.
All day, every day.
All day, every day. That's right.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm
On the
tired.
request line on 103.4 FM. I got you. I got you. I got your soul. I got your requests, lady. Come in. Call me in. No problems. Tony D, what love song do you want to request out and tell me who you want to, you know, devote that song to,
We're taking
104.3.
requests tonight.
See, I think I saw. I think I saw
I
Black
do
Keys
believe
for a couple
Tony
of
would
minutes.
love
Somebody
to
with Cheryl
devote that
Lee, man.
song to
You know who they
Davina.
are. How about that?
This one goes out to
Now
you.
we sure.
No.
This one goes out to
All
Davina
those
I
lovebirds out
love.
Oh
there.
no, 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 no.
Oh,
Davina just
Tony D and Davina are just made for each other. I swear to God. Seriously.
Is
all
she
Yeah.
of
the
y'all.
lady that was
Y'all
like
can't believe this
accusing him
app.
of
I
flirting
swear.
or something the other day, or is that somebody else?
No, I'm the way I look at it is payback for all the Blaze comments. So it's funny to me.
Dude. Oh yeah, yeah, that's who it was. Blaze was really ripping into you there. She had it out for you. Maybe a thing for you. I don't know.
She
I
was.
don't
I said,
know.
I'm not that bad. I said, Carmen, we waited for a month before we said anything. I said, go back and play
Hey,
the video.
Blazer. Hey, Blazer. Anything I can do to get Tony D away from Carmen from me, I'm happy with. So it's all good. I'm patient.
We're not even that tight. We're just tight on haps.
Son, you're my best friend and my worst enemy. I got you, son.
Yes, B and C kissing in a tree. Wait, what? That's me. Oh shit.
Exactly. That's
Oh shit! Holy
Hey,
moly!
hey, hey. That's a tree I'd love to climb.
there you go. There you go. That's the spirit. That's the
Yeah.
It's
spirit.
a good thing we're not G-rated on here.
I'm just
Nope.
saying. It's after
This
hours.
blaze.
You know, by
This is
now,
blazing after dark.
there you go.
Blazing after dark. This is
Mm-mm.
the midnight special.
Well, it was
Yeah.
Tony D after dark with the censorship. I'd tell you that much.
I was being a little
Adult
funny.
blazing. Explicit.
Right. Right.
This is where it comes back to
The-
the radio station. And we'll bring you
yes.
into the morning with Midnight Special. Well, you wake up in the morning.
That's right.
Where's Carmen? I'm probably sure she's probably laying in bed sleeping. I can
She should be
almost
asleep.
guarantee that. No, I don't know. Why would I know something like that? I don't know.
Carmen is in the bed, is in bed, sleeping and dreaming of me, her Australian honey.
Nice.
We can all dream, can't we?
That makes you the blooming onion up here.
That's an old song I haven't heard. Dream a little dream.
Dream a little
Fuck
dream.
you, Tony.
Ah, steak
I think we're all just slowly losing our mind.
Oh, dude, I am so deliriously tired right now.
I mean,
It's
what's the
past
time zone over there?
absurdity. It's like 2:38 in the morning here.
On
So
a Monday or a Tuesday? No, it'd be like a
Saturday.
Friday,
Saturday.
Saturday
I
or
think
something.
it's Saturday. Yeah, yeah, Saturday.
Chris Cook!
I used to live in Guam, and I used to actually be in the same time zone as you at one point in time in my life.
Ah,
Yeah.
that must have been sad. I
No,
mean,
dude,
I don't
I
want to
love
be
that
on this
little
time zone.
island. I love that little island to death. I want to move back there for the rest of my life.
When I'm not streaming, I'm saving up to go back to Guam.
Right.
Basically. Hmm.
I heard it got geckos like crazy in the island too.
Yeah, I think Carmen. Yeah, Carmen typically has a early bedtime compared to the rest of us fools because she's got like professional shit to do.
Right, right, right.
Yeah. Oh.
You know what I've noticed? And a lot of people on here don't seem to use that present on screen much anymore.
I do sometimes. Well, so what the reason why a lot of people weren't a lot of one reason why a lot of people didn't use it is because it wasn't an option during the switch over up until like a few weeks ago. So yeah,
So what are you saying? What? Sorry, I didn't get that.
we were talking about presenting stuff on screen like this. Could have banned slavery or shellfish. So shellfish.
But
You
a
chose
rusty nail killed him,
shellfish.
right?
Yeah.
That is so damn
I don't
wrong.
know.
Right. Okay. Here's a picture of my bicycle.
They
What?
call that a bicycle. That's like a bicycle with motors. God damn it! I don't know what the hell you guys call that over there in the U.S. of A. But that there is not a bicycle. That's like a bicycle on steroids.
That
I
is a
call that I, I,
motorsport.
I call that the I call that the antecedent to WAP.
Nice.
Just nice. Nice is the follow up to that. Nice is the appropriate answer.
Looks like a
I don't
Makes
classic
know.
bicycle.
I got no fucking idea what you're talking about, but I can tell you if you show me something, I'm gonna up it from an Australian perspective. So you know what? We're all pussies.
So WAP is a wet ass pussy. So
Yes, I
the
know that.
okay,
I'm not
oh
saying
okay.
Oh, seriously.
I
stupid.
misunderstood you.
I always thought
Fucking
that was a
hell,
weird song.
I know that. Know that. I may not have seen one for several years, but I know what it
It's been
is.
a while at it.
It's been a
I mean,
fucking
if we have
while.
that discussion, it will be a hell of a long
He's
discussion.
like, it's been a while since I got it.
It's
So I
been a
got a dry
long
ass
while.
dick, a
You
dad.
know what?
What is that?
I drop
TA.
out of this chat occasionally because I'm working on a
Seriously,
Tinder date.
please. Seriously.
I'm working on a Tinder date that I
I
can
went
see.
there.
So just cut me some slack, Barry. Come on. If I
Well,
really need to charm this girl, I'm gonna literally gonna bring Tony D into the conversation and just go, "Hey, talk to this woman for me."
Watch yourself, shorty. Watch yourself.
Ooh. Oh, I'm not even looking at the comments. Ah,
all
shit.
right,
Let me
let's
look
talk
at the
about women. That
comments.
seems to be a great
Oh,
conversation for
let's
us
look at
all.
the comments. I haven't seen the
Yeah.
comment for
I
like
don't know if
15
I'm getting
minutes.
updates for the comments. All I've seen is Susan saying goodbye or good night or something.
Oh, okay. So, okay. It's fine.
I
All
don't
I
know if
see
I'm.
is Tony D's gonna actually talk to my Tinder dates and get me laid. So I'm happy with that.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Ouch. 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 Ouch.
There's what's that old
I'd
singer
ride
supposed to
pillion
do
on
with
that
it?
bike. I like it. Ooh, Nursey. I like it. Yeah.
Oh, I guess we're not seeing the same comments you are, kind of thing.
Oh, no. Nursey made a comment about riding on the back of my motorcycle. I was like, all right. I like that too.
You mean
Nice.
that motorcycle with a motor?
Right.
Yeah. My bicycle. I have a box. Oh,
They
okay.
used to just say "come for a ride" back in the day. Didn't matter what the hell you were riding, as long as you were riding something.
Very true.
I I tried that line so many times without a motorbike. I can tell you that much. But anyway,
Good to know we're in the right context.
sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't.
It's all about delivery, man. Everybody can use the same line, but if you're not delivering it right, it's not getting you nowhere.
Absolutely.
Hey, I got charm, son. I got charm. It's all good.
What's Lucky Charms in Australia?
Magically delicious.
Magically delicious.
No, it
Uh,
really depends. It
that shouldn't
really
be that funny, but it's funny.
no, it really depends. You just gotta play it by ear, just like anywhere else. You just gotta play it by ear, and you drop the line at the right time, at the right place, and the right situation, and hey, how you doing? It's all good.
Every time somebody
It's always a
says
seedy bar, and
depends,
you've got to be able to sing. If you can sing, you can wow anybody.
every time I hear somebody say depends, I think old man diapers.
I mean, pretty
Hey,
much.
Tony D, mate. My crew and I used to sing. We used to sing old school, tunes. So we sing Dean Martin, Tony, all that shit. We used
Yeah,
to
yeah,
sing.
that
We
that
used to
sounds
sing
about
that.
right. Everybody loves somebody sometimes.
No, 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 dude. We used to sing that shit, and the girls used to love it. And yeah, my house was hella busy, trying to find a space. It was, we used to sing, and oh yeah, we used to go old school, old school.
Of course. I can throw
Huh?
that
Oh, the
back.
old, the old Dean Martin, Sammy Davis Jr., Frank Sinatra, all
The
that
Rat
stuff.
The
Pack.
Rat Pack.
Oh, the old Rat
Yeah.
Pack. Rat Pack was amazing. We used to sing that. So when I had my
Hold
own house, when I got kicked out of home, I had my own house, and we used, the boys used to be always around, the girls used to come around, and we used to sing the Rat Pack, and the girls loved it. It was phenomenal,
Absolutely.
phenomenal.
You gotta have fun, but you gotta have fun while you're having fun.
Oh,
Phenomenal.
exactly. But you gotta remember the classics. Like I said, the Rat Pack. Sammy Davis Jr., Dean Martin, Frank Sinatra. They are classical singers. They are just amazing. You hear them sing. They are just amazing. So it was pretty cool that we tried to emulate them, and still to this day, I love the Rat Pack. Love the Rat Pack. So
Nice.
you know,
I kind of got a thing for Frankie Valley and the Four Seasons. They had good songs.
oh yeah,
Jerry.
oh yeah, yep,
Yeah,
definitely,
that was
definitely.
a high pitched ass voice. I have no idea how the hell he did that shit.
I don't know. You listen to everything, and lack of friends and everything. You learn a lot about yourself.
Yeah,
The
find your own
amount of country songs I've had to sing by myself. My dad used to be in Kenny and stuff, and then you start to try to sing that voice, and that's a hard voice to sing.
But why country music? Of
right.
all the
Well,
genres.
Well, you see, my mama used to listen to Dolly, and she used to have every single thing on the radio station. Used to sing along to it, and then
Dolly
you
was the
grow
shit.
up and you go through your punk stage and your rock stage and all that kind of stuff, and then you realize that nothing really hits quite home like country does. And
I
then
don't
you start
know.
singing it, and then you realize you have a voice for it, and then
Good point. Good point. You do have, like, that's why I said earlier, it's like you don't sound like you're from New Zealand. You sound like you have an American accent. That's why I asked. Like you
Yeah, he
literally
well,
does.
sound like you're, yeah, yeah. Like Tony, right?
Yeah, he does. He
like
does.
Tony.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, not like Tony, but yeah. Dude, like you sound American. That's probably because the country music scene. That
Well,
makes
you see, when you
sense.
sing country music enough, you develop an American accent unlike any other.
Holy shit,
Wow.
Let me tell
Wow.
you something about South.
man!
In the South, there's none of this bickering. There's none of this here internet. We be sat down on the front porch.
I live in the South too. You gonna pass like a mug.
Biscuits and
Oh
gravy.
wow. Hey, now don't fuck with some biscuits and gravy. I love me some biscuits and gravy. Like that's a part of that's part of the southern, like, that has stuck with me.
Sausage, biscuits, and gravy is like Southern delicacies. Jesus Christ,
Hmm.
I'm so tired of. Oh my God.
Now we're gonna get into some
Oh,
jambalaya.
like damn it.
ER nurse, you crack me up. I love you.
She's awesome.
Why am I
Yeah,
not getting all the updates? It's weird. Like the comments don't seem to be coming through for me. Maybe it's my internet connection or some shit.
it might be the connection.
Something,
I know mine
yeah.
was acting up 2 days ago on my computer, and I was at home.
It's probably the internet connection mixed with the freaking app itself, because we all know that the app's had problems.
Yes,
Yeah,
this app
this is
has a
not that.
lot of problems. I
I got
agree.
criticized so much for bringing up issues I was having, and then you read the discords and everyone's having issues with them, and it's just like, so when I say it, it's like a big issue, but like when everyone else says it, it's a genuine concern.
You
Yep,
said you
must
listen.
be the connection.
And then
Yeah,
it's like, at that point, it's just like, how about y'all go fuck yourself?
yeah,
Because
yeah.
it's like you'd bring up something, and then like somebody else would bring it up later on the Discord, and it's just like, yeah, so they bring it up, and everyone pays attention. I bring it up, and suddenly it's just a me thing.
Yeah, I go through that at work too.
But the Discord's funny.
I haven't been able to figure out Discord. I
Me
hate that
neither.
app. I fucking hate Discord.
I got
I
the app,
hate
but
it.
I mean, I can't connect with anybody.
It's such a
Another
weird app.
another failure of the system, man.
No,
We're
actually,
we're
I
linking.
like. I feel like I'm a boomer in this situation. I hate to say that.
God damn it! You're like the middle of the pack, ain't you?
Right.
You're
Right?
like mid 40s or something, right? And everyone
Yeah.
else
I
is
mean, I
either
should be able
around
to
that or.
I should be able to figure out Discord, right?
God damn it! Your
Yeah.
people invented this technology. What the shit?
Right.
I
Right.
know. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Or though
Yeah.
that is basically
Gen
what's
X
happening.
is my Gen Xerism is failing me at the moment.
about to be a damn.
This is the funny thing is all of our generations, past and present and stuff, kind of created all of the current technology that our kids and everything are using. Well, the kids these days are using because I ain't got no kids, but like it's like they know how to use it better,
Good.
but we all created it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's in the DNA. Absolute evidence of it's in the DNA. Trust me.
It's the aliens, man. How did we go from flip phones to smartphones, man? Glass that you could touch?
Dude, dude. I
Star
know.
Trek, buddy. Star Trek. It's an
That shit don't make
inspiration.
sense, man. It's happening to the world. Area 52 must have been a thing.
Nah, this
Area
was real.
52.
Yeah, he said
That was
52.
Area
No,
51.
it's
I don't
51.
remember.
That was raided last year or something.
Oh, the Naruto runners.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yep.
all that shit.
I got kids. I know about that shit.
They were telling me, they were like, Daddy, I see y'all and your friends on the news.
Get him.
I, I learned from my kids. It keeps me young and in very in focus.
It keeps you up to date until they get older, and then you gotta hope they have kids and then grandkids and where.
Shit. Put the television on. You'll find out what they're doing.
Then you come on here and it's just like, I was live streaming back when.
Exactly.
All right.
That's the funny
Well,
thing is there's not a
I'm
lot of
gonna.
younger people on this platform.
There's not. But with that being said, I'm going to have to start shutting this down because I am exhausted.
Sure.
So yeah, Tony, thanks for popping up. It's been a while, my friend. We need
Oh
to
yeah,
get.
absolutely. Yep. I'm here. Finally
Yeah,
out.
I've had a couple of people reach out to me and ask why we're not doing veterans voices anymore. We might need to hash that out. Um,
To me, we haven't. I haven't seen anything new or major for us to report, except the. I tell everybody the same thing I was doing previously. Take the previous broadcast that we did. We did drop
yeah.
as much as we could publicly.
I think it was the viewership losing viewership from the switchover is kind of what killed it. But
Yeah.
it seems like some viewership is coming back, and maybe we can plug it some more. But possible. Thanks for popping up. It was an interesting conversation, a conversation that I think should maybe I think you should reflect on, to tell you the truth. Um, but I would like to have some more conversations with you in the future. I'd like to pick at your
Am I a
philosophy.
VIP all of a sudden?
Absolutely. So just leave the southern twang at home. But
Oh, why I gotta do that? Why the hell do I have to do that? You're supposed to be who you are and what feels natural.
you remind me of Mike Judge. Um, but
I don't know who that is, but all right.
look him up. You'll probably be fascinated. ER nurse, thanks for sticking around. Love you, hon. Everybody else that stopped by, Richie, if you're out there, thanks for stopping by too. Y'all have a great day, and you know me, stay high, homies.
Exactly. Y'all take care.
Yeah. Take the high road.
Yep, take the high road.